You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
Now, the Fayetteville Super Regional is this weekend. I am so hyped for it. Arkansas is looking to go to their third College World Series in 3 years. Now, number one, Arkansas won the Fayetteville Regional, and NC State won the Ruston Regional. NC State is ranked number 16th in the D1 baseball poll. However, they were not a national seed and was the 2 seed in the Ruston Regional at LA Tech. Now, the schedule for this weekend is on Friday, 5 p.m. at home, Saturday, 2 p.m. at home, and then, if necessary, on Sunday, 5 p.m. at home. All home games for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So if you got a ticket or you know somebody, make sure to get out to Baum Walker.
Now, for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
So Arkansas is obviously at 49-11, 22-8 in SEC play. SEC tournament champions, SEC regular season champions, number one RPI, and an astonishing 29-6 home record. Haven't lost a series at home, haven't lost a series anywhere, but I guess they haven't lost it at home technically. They went 3-1 in the Fayetteville Regional, and they are 7-3 against teams in the RPI range of NC State, and in series against those, they won all of those too. Now, starting pitching for your Arkansas Razorbacks, Friday, I feel like Dave Van Horn's going to go with left-handed pitcher Patrick Wicklander. Lowest started ERA at 2.18. I say it a lot, he's quietly putting up one of the best performances in the SEC and NCAA. The duo of him and Kopps is just so dangerous. He has a 6-1 record on 70 innings pitched, 79 strikeouts, and only 22 walks, and holds opposing batters to a 0.222 batting average. Those are some elite numbers right there from the ace. Saturday, I think Dave Van Horn will go with left-handed pitcher Lyle Lockhart, a 4.5 ERA. However, as of recently, he's been really showing his ability to be the consistent second-day starter, as he had a great SEC tournament as he pitched, I think, 6 2/3 of a perfect game, and then came out of the bullpen in the championship, and then pitched against Saturday against Nebraska. He struggled a little bit in his last inning, but looks solid elsewhere. He's got a 3-3 record, but he's pitched on a lot of Sundays. 66 strikeouts for the lefty, and then Sunday, if necessary, I'm honestly going to say to be determined, and I wouldn't be shocked if DVH says the same in his press conference, just based off who's in the bullpen. Guys that could start here, I would expect one of these three. Jackson Wiggins, he has a 5.09 ERA. Caleb Bolden with a 4.5 ERA. Vermillion, if he's healthy, I know he's been dealing with some fluid in the biceps, and Dave Van Horn says the medical staff was working to push that out, but, I'm not sure. Obviously, DVH would give an update on that. And, wait to see who's using the bullpen. And it could be a game for Kopps, too, to pitch, 5+ innings like he did in that finale against Nebraska. Pitch 5 innings and send the Hogs off to Omaha. This is a huge, if necessary, too, game because Arkansas or NC State could technically win in 2. Now out of the bullpen, you got Kevin Kopps. And as Stephen A. Smith says, Kevin Kopps is just a bad man. 12-0 record, 0.68 ERA, lowest in D1 baseball, 11 saves, 105 more strikeouts than walks. I mean, it's just impressive what he's doing. Hand him the Golden Spikes now. You obviously have him available for Game 1, and depending on his pitch count, Game 2. You'll have to see on that one, though. Ryan Costu is usually good for an inning or 2. Connor Noland is pretty good in that Nebraska game, the second one, and when he's on, he's one of the best guys out of the pen, and he's been having a bigger role since he got back from injury, so maybe him. Caden Monk, too. Obviously, he has to throw strikes when he gets in because he's been a little bit struggling to find the zone. However, I think he's very capable of doing it because we've seen it all season, and maybe Vermillion once we get him back, too. Don't know what's going on with Zeb. Now for the bats, you got Charlie Welch batting .390. If you go on the DH here, you go with the pinch hit. Obviously, you went with the pinch hit against Nebraska in that final game, and he pimped that home run, and I'm still pumped about that. It's Wednesday night, and I think that was yesterday. I'm watching that video every day, It's just awesome to see. Obviously, Slavens, though, he's back in the lineup on Sunday and Monday. He struggled with no hits, but the rest should help him. You also can't deny his defensive ability, as he was a lift on Sunday, even though he was hurt. He had a little bit of a limp in his walk, but obviously he has rest Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I guess some of Friday to, get healthy, so I'm not too worried about that. He's batting .290 on this team and the RBI leader. Batting from 285 to 280 is Robert Moore, Christian Franklin, and Caden Wallace. All these guys hitting 12 or more home runs on the season. Just an impressive number there. Matt Goodhart also hitting over 12 home runs. He's batting from 270 to 265, along with Cone Smith and Jalen Battles. The rest, though, Casey Opitz, Zach Gregory, Jacob Nesbitt, and Braden Webb. And for a lot of these guys, you'll see that they're very good at defense. So, if you can trade a little bit of offensive ability in your lineup for better defense, I think that's comfortable to go with. And those guys obviously bring it. Casey Opitz, the best defensive catcher in the nation. Anything that comes his way, wild pitch, he's pretty much going to stop it. Lots of plug-and-play options, though, especially with Gregory, Nesbitt, Webb, Welch. Dave Van Horn can go about 1,000 different ways here. And expect movement between games. If something's not working or someone needs some rest, you can move the lineup around. Dave Van Horn's done that all year. There hasn't actually been a lineup that we're sat on and we've gone with. But, you obviously want to get that before Omaha, so hopefully something works out this weekend. 6 guys, over 10 home runs as well, a team total of 102. And the walks and homers strategy should be in effect. Arkansas top 10 in both of those categories in the NCAA, so you just want to get on base and hit some dingers. You also can play small ball too, because this team has done that. Now, this weekend is
versus
the NC State Wolfpack. They're 33-17, 19-14 in ACC play. ACC Championship for second place as well. Number 35 in the RPI. 17-3 record on the road. They play very well on the road, but got to remember, a lot of these ACC stadiums are at lower capacity. The atmosphere is not the same as SEC or just Arkansas in general. And they lost the series to number 10 Notre Dame on the road. And a lot of those games were against easier teams. However, they are 1-3 against teams in the RPI range of Arkansas, which would be 1 through 25. Went 3-0 and swept the Ruston Regional. Now for the starting pitching for the NC State Wolfpacks. Reed Johnson is probably going to be their number one guy. He's got an 8-2 record with a team-low starter, 3.9 ERA, 81 strikeouts, and holds batters to a 2.22 average. The exact same as probably Arkansas's starter on Friday, Patrick Wicklander. He's probably Friday, maybe Saturday if, they want to do that to avoid, I guess, elimination. I mean, it's probably Friday, though. And then you got Sam Heifel, 3.95 ERA with a 7-2 record, 72 strikeouts, and he's probably going to be that Saturday or Sunday guy. And then Matt Willitson is their other guy who is third on the team in innings pitched. He's got a 4.97 ERA, and I'm guessing he's going to start on Sunday. I could also see them, maybe starting Chris Villeman. He's got a 4.42 ERA on Sunday. Wilson's record is 5-3, so either two of those guys will probably start on Sunday. Maybe see them out of the bullpen too. But then their closer, Evan Justice, 4.47 ERA with 62 strikeouts in 50 innings pitched. He gets a lot of strikeouts. However, he's got a pretty, average ERA. And their bullpen really doesn't have that many pitchers. Cody Ingle has a 0.66 ERA on 10 innings pitched. And Dalton Feeney has a very high ERA, and he's pitched in 16 different games. I think it's above 7. This NC State team, their weak point is obviously pitching, and you want to get to their starters, get into the bullpen, and, make the game ugly. And Arkansas getting their bats is going to be key because outside of, maybe 5 or 6 guys, their pitching depth is not that elite, compared to a team like Nebraska. You see that by the ERA and the innings pitch level. And, Arkansas obviously has the edge here, it doesn't guarantee a win. I just want to say that, you must perform regardless, because sometimes in baseball, guys can just pitch lights out. So regardless of NC State, Arkansas wants to be on their best and get the bats going, and not overlook this pitching staff, because, hey, they could come out and shock me. Nebraska did that. Now, looking at the lineup for NC State here, you got Austin Murr, the leadoff batter, batting .329 with 31 RBIs. Next up is Tyler McDonough. He's a big MLB draft prospect. I could see him going in the top 3 rounds. Huge name around baseball. Batting .351, a team leading 15 home runs, 13 stolen bases. He bats in the 2-hole, and just the biggest bat on this team. I mean, his slugging percentage is very high, above 600. So, obviously, this is a guy that you want to bring your A-game towards pitching. Johnny Butler bats in the 3-hole. He's got a team-leading at .389 batting average. Team-leading 46 RBIs as well in the cleanup spot. Terrell Tatum is the designated hitter, batting .321. Jose Torres is the cleanup batter. He is batting .294 at shortstop. And then the back 4 guys of the batting order is Luca Tresh, Devontae Brown, Voltek Menzik, and JT Jarrett.
It's time for Sam's prediction.
I got Hogs winning game 1. I think Wick and Kopps just get it done here. Easy, non-stressful win because, you have 2 elite pitchers, both under a 2.5 ERA on the mound. Arkansas's offense should be able to wake up against NC State, as Nebraska had lots of good pitchers. But game 2, I think, is anyone's game. I think we could see Leon Costu and the rest of the bullpen pitching well and balling out, and that's an easy win for Arkansas. But I think at the end of the day, this one's going to come down to the bats and how well we get off on NC State and their bullpen, and how many bullpen guys NC State uses on Friday. There's a lot of what-ifs here, because if NC State's down big in game 1, they're going to put in their not-as-good pitchers and save them for the elimination game. So a lot of what-ifs here, but ultimately it's going to depend on the bats, just like any baseball game, because you have to score to win. And then game 3, if played, Arkansas wins, in my opinion. This team is just so clutch, and I think we get to win against a low-depth pitching team if a game 3 takes place, which I do think so. I wouldn't be shocked if Arkansas drops game 2, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they win. I'm just kind of leaning towards that lose, because NC State has a fire offense. I think Kopps rolls here as well, if we need him to, because Dave Van Horn kind of sees, all right, we'll give Kopps one more day of rest. Game 3 elimination game, he'll take care of business. But that has been all. I'm so glad to be covering Arkansas baseball. Finally got school wrapped up and all. But you know the deal. Woo pig suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hog Sports with Sam Stimson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hog Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hog Sports and Arkansas Razorbacks Podcast. And on YouTube at that same name. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Go Hogs!